I never thought a piece of paper could destroy me. But on Mother's Day, when my daughter handed me that card with trembling fingers and eyes that wouldn't meet mine, I felt my entire world collapse into dust. She didn't smile. She didn't hug me. She just placed it in my hands, whispered, "Happy Mother's Day, Mom," and walked away. I stood there in the living room, frozen, holding that small envelope like it was a grenade about to explode. My hands shook, my heart pounded. Something was wrong. Terribly, deeply wrong. I had been waiting for this day all week. I had cleaned the house, baked her favorite cookies, set up a small surprise breakfast with balloons and flowers. I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted her to feel loved. I wanted to be the mother she deserved. But when I opened that card, I realized I had failed. Completely. The words inside weren't written in anger. They weren't cruel. They were worse. They were honest. "Mom, I know you love me, but I don't think you see me anymore." I read it once, twice, 3 times. Each word cut deeper than the last. My legs gave out. I sat down on the couch, clutching the card to my chest, tears streaming down my face. My daughter, my beautiful, quiet 14-year-old daughter, had just told me the one truth I had been running from for years. I had stopped seeing her, and I didn't even know when it happened. The card was handmade, pink construction paper folded carefully in half. She had drawn a small flower on the front, a daisy, my favorite. Inside, her handwriting was shaky, like she had rewritten it several times, trying to find the right words. I miss the mom who used to read me bedtime stories. I miss the mom who used to ask about my dreams. I miss the mom who used to laugh with me. I know you're tired. I know you work hard. But sometimes I wish you would just stop and see me. Really see me. I'm still here, Mom. I'm still waiting. My chest tightened. My throat burned. I couldn't breathe. How long had she been feeling this way? How long had she been carrying this pain alone? How long had I been blind? I looked up, searching for her, but she had already disappeared into her room. The door was closed, and suddenly that closed door felt like a symbol of everything I had lost. I wanted to run to her. I wanted to burst through that door, hold her tight, and tell her I was sorry, tell her I loved her, tell her I would fix this. But my body wouldn't move, because deep down, I was terrified. Terrified that it was too late. Terrified that I had already broken something that couldn't be repaired. Terrified that my daughter, the only person in this world who truly mattered, no longer believed in me.
My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm 39 years old, a single mother, a fighter, a survivor. Or at least that's what I told myself every morning when I woke up at 5 a.m. to start my day. I had been raising my daughter, Emma, alone since she was 3. Her father left us without a word, without a reason, without a single backward glance. One day he was there, and the next he was gone. I never heard from him again. No phone call, no letter, no explanation. At first, I was shattered. I cried every night, wondering what I did wrong, wondering if I was enough. But then I made a decision. I decided I would be enough, for both of us. I worked 2 jobs. One as a receptionist at a dental clinic from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and another as a weekend cashier at a grocery store. I worked overtime whenever it was offered. I picked up extra shifts during holidays. I skipped meals to save money. I wore the same 3 outfits on rotation because I couldn't afford new clothes. But Emma had everything she needed. New shoes every school year, a warm winter coat, books, art supplies, a birthday cake every single year, no matter how tight money was. I told myself I was doing it for her. I told myself I was being a good mother. But somewhere along the way, I stopped asking her what she actually needed. Emma was always a quiet child. Even as a toddler, she rarely cried. She didn't throw tantrums. She didn't demand attention. She would sit in the corner of our tiny apartment with her coloring books, humming softly to herself, lost in her own little world.
People used to tell me, "You're so lucky, she's so easy, so well behaved." And I believed them. I thought her silence meant she was happy. I thought her independence meant she didn't need me as much. I thought as long as I provided for her, food, shelter, safety, I was doing my job. But I was wrong. I was so wrong. The truth is, I was exhausted. Every single day felt like a battle. There was always another bill to pay, another shift to cover, another problem to solve. I was running on empty, surviving on coffee and guilt, and the faint hope that one day things would get easier. And Emma, she was always there, always quiet, always waiting for me to notice her. But I didn't. I didn't see the way she stopped showing me her drawings. I didn't see the way she stopped asking me to read her bedtime stories. I didn't see the way she started spending more and more time alone in her room, door closed, headphones on, shutting the world out. I told myself it was normal. She's growing up. Teenagers need space. Teenagers don't want to hang out with their moms. But it wasn't space she needed. It was me. She needed me to sit with her, to listen, to ask questions and actually wait for the answers, to look into her eyes and see the sadness she was hiding. But I was too busy surviving to see that my daughter was drowning. And by the time I realized it, I was drowning too. The signs were there. I just didn't want to see them. A few months before Mother's Day, Emma started acting different. She became even quieter than usual, if that was even possible. She stopped eating breakfast with me. She stopped asking about my day. She stopped looking me in the eye. At first, I blamed it on school. Maybe she was stressed about exams. Maybe she had a fight with a friend. Maybe it was just teenage mood swings. I asked her once, casually, while washing dishes after dinner, "Everything okay at school, sweetie?" She nodded without looking up from her phone. "Yeah, fine." "You sure? You seem a little distant lately." "I'm fine, Mom." Her voice was flat, emotionless. That was it. End of conversation. I didn't push. I told myself she'd talk to me when she was ready. But deep down, I think I was relieved, because pushing meant facing something I wasn't ready to face. It meant admitting that something was broken, and I didn't have the energy to fix broken things. I was barely holding myself together. Then came the report card. Emma had always been a good student, not perfect, but solid. Mostly B's, a few A's. She did her homework without being asked. She studied for tests. She never gave me trouble. But when I opened her report card that October afternoon, I felt my stomach drop. 3 C's, 2 D's, 1 F in math. I stared at the paper in disbelief, reading it over and over, hoping I had misread something. "Emma, what happened?" I asked when she got home from school, trying to keep my voice calm, trying not to sound angry. She shrugged, not looking at me. "I don't know." "You don't know? Emma, this is serious. You've never failed a class before. You've never even gotten a D." "I said I don't know, Mom." Her voice was cold, detached, like she didn't care. And that scared me more than the grades. "Did something happen? Are you having trouble understanding the material? Do you need a tutor? I'm fine. I just didn't study enough." "But why didn't you study? Emma, talk to me." "I said I'm fine." She snapped at me, actually raised her voice. Emma never raised her voice. I stood there, frozen, staring at this stranger in front of me who looked like my daughter, but felt like someone I didn't know anymore. I wanted to keep talking. I wanted to sit her down and figure out what was really going on, but I had to leave for my evening shift in 10 minutes. I didn't have time for a long conversation. "We'll talk about this later," I said quietly, folding the report card and putting it in my purse. "But Emma, you need to do better. Education is important. It's your way out of—" I stopped myself. Out of what? Out of poverty? Out of struggle? Out of a life like mine? I didn't finish the sentence, but the words hung in the air between us. Emma just nodded, her face expressionless, and walked to her room, and I left for work. Later, never came, because when I got home that night at 11 p.m., Emma was already asleep, and the next morning I was too exhausted to bring it up. And the day after that, I convinced myself she was probably doing better already, and the cycle continued. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and the distance between us grew wider and wider.
3 weeks before Mother's Day, I got a phone call that changed everything. I was at work, filing patient records at the dental clinic, when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Telemarketers called constantly, but something made me pick up. Hello? Hi, is this Sarah Mitchell, Emma's mother? My heart immediately started racing. Calls from school never meant good news. Yes, this is she. Is Emma okay? Emma's fine physically. This is Miss Rivera, the school counselor. I was hoping we could talk about some concerns we have regarding Emma's well-being. I felt my throat tighten. What kind of concerns? Well, several of Emma's teachers have noticed some changes in her behavior over the past few months. She's been isolating herself during lunch. She used to sit with a group of friends, but now she eats alone in the library. She's stopped participating in class discussions. She seems withdrawn, sad even. Each word felt like a punch to my chest. We've tried reaching out to her, Miss Rivera continued gently, but she insists everything is fine. However, one of her teachers found this in her English journal during a recent assignment. There was a pause. I could hear papers shuffling. The assignment was to write about a person who inspires you. Emma wrote about you, Miss Mitchell, about how hard you work, how you sacrifice everything for her. But then she wrote something that concerned us. She wrote, "My mom is my hero, but sometimes I wish she would save herself from drowning, because I'm drowning too, and she doesn't see it." I couldn't breathe. The room spun. My vision blurred. "Miss Mitchell, are you there?" Yes, I'm here. I'm not trying to alarm you. Emma hasn't expressed any thoughts of self-harm or anything like that, but she is clearly struggling emotionally. Has anything changed at home? Any major stressors? I wanted to say no. I wanted to defend myself, but the truth was, nothing had changed. That was the problem. I work a lot, I admitted, my voice cracking. 2 jobs. I'm just trying to keep us afloat. I understand, and I can hear how much you care, but Emma might need something different right now. Not more things, just more of you, your time, your attention, your presence. Tears streamed down my face. I was at work. I couldn't break down, but I couldn't hold it together either. "What do I do?" I whispered. "Talk to her. Really talk. Not about grades or chores or schedules. Ask her how she feels, what she's thinking, what she needs, and then listen. Just listen." I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. "Okay, I'll talk to her. And, Miss Mitchell, be patient with yourself. You're doing your best. Sometimes our best just needs a little adjustment." After I hung up, I sat in the break room for 20 minutes, crying silently into my hands. How had I missed this? How had my daughter been suffering right in front of me and I didn't see it? That evening, I left work early for the first time in 2 years. I stopped at the store and bought Emma's favorite snacks, chocolate chip cookies and strawberry lemonade. I picked up flowers. I drove home rehearsing what I would say. When I walked through the door, Emma was sitting at the kitchen table doing homework. She looked up, surprised. "You're home early." "I wanted to spend time with you," I said, setting the bags on the counter. "I got your favorite cookies, and I thought maybe we could talk." Something flickered across her face. Hope, maybe, or fear. About what? About everything. How you're doing, how you're feeling. I know I haven't been around much, and I'm sorry. I want to change that. Emma stared at me for a long moment, and for the first time in months, I saw emotion in her eyes. Real, raw emotion. But then she looked away. "It's okay, Mom. You don't have to do this." "Do what?" "Pretend like you have time for me. I know you're busy. I know you're tired. It's fine. I'm used to it."
Her words cut deeper than any knife. Emma, I'm not pretending. Mom, please, just don't. It's easier when we don't pretend. She gathered her books and walked to her room, and I stood there helpless, watching her leave, watching her give up on me. The next 2 weeks were the hardest of my life. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I couldn't focus at work. All I could think about was Emma's face, the emptiness in her eyes, the resignation in her voice. It's easier when we don't pretend. What had I done to my daughter? I replayed every moment of the past few years. Every time I had said, "Not now, sweetheart, I'm tired." Every time I had missed a school event because of work. Every time I had chosen exhaustion over connection. I had convinced myself I was being a good mother by providing for her, but I had forgotten the most important thing a child needs. Not things, just to be seen, to be heard, to matter. And Emma didn't feel like she mattered, not to the one person whose opinion mattered most. I started trying harder. I came home earlier. I asked about her day. I offered to help with homework. I suggested we watch movies together, go for walks, cook dinner side by side. But every time she gave me the same polite, distant responses. "I'm good, Mom, thanks. I have a lot of homework, maybe another time. I'm kind of tired. I think I'll just go to bed early." She had built a wall between us, brick by brick, over months and years of feeling invisible, and I had no idea how to break it down. I cried alone in my room every night, muffling my sobs with a pillow so she wouldn't hear. I had failed her. I had failed the one person I was supposed to protect. One night, about a week before Mother's Day, I couldn't take it anymore. I walked to Emma's room and knocked softly. "Emma, can I come in?" Silence. I opened the door anyway. She was lying on her bed, staring at the ceiling, earbuds in. "Emma, please, I need to talk to you." She pulled out one earbud. Her face was blank. "What's wrong?" "Everything," I said, my voice breaking. "Everything is wrong, and I don't know how to fix it." For a moment, something softened in her expression. "Mom, no, please, let me say this. I know I haven't been there for you. I know I've been so focused on working and surviving that I forgot to actually live, forgot to be present with you, and I'm so sorry. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I need you to know that I see it now. I see how much I've hurt you, and I'm going to do better. I promise." Emma sat up slowly. Her eyes were red, like she had been crying. "Do you really see it, Mom, or are you just saying that because the school called?" My breath caught. She knew. "Miss Rivera called you, didn't she? She told you I was struggling. That's why you suddenly care." "No, sweetheart, that's not—" "It is, Mom. You didn't notice on your own. Someone had to tell you." The truth of her words hit me like a freight train. She was right. I hadn't noticed on my own. I had been so blind, so consumed by my own exhaustion, that it took a stranger to point out what should have been obvious. "You're right," I whispered. "You're absolutely right. And I hate that. I hate that I didn't see it myself. But Emma, I'm seeing it now. And I'm here. I'm right here. And I'm not going anywhere." Emma's face crumpled. Tears streamed down her cheeks. "I just wanted you to ask, Mom. I just wanted you to look at me and ask if I was okay. That's all. Just see me." I crossed the room and pulled her into my arms. She sobbed against my shoulder, and I held her tight, crying with her. "I see you, baby. I see you. I'm so sorry it took me so long." We stayed like that for a long time, holding each other in the quiet darkness, and for the first time in months, I felt like maybe, just maybe, I hadn't lost her completely. After that night, something shifted between us. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't magically fixed, but it was a start. I made real changes. I cut back my hours at the grocery store. I told my boss at the clinic that I couldn't do overtime anymore. Money would be tighter, but I didn't care. Emma needed me more than we needed extra money. I started being home for dinner every night. We cooked together. We talked about her day, her friends, her dreams. I asked questions and actually listened to the answers. I learned that she loved painting but had stopped because she thought I was too busy to care. I learned that she had a crush on a boy in her science class but was too shy to talk to him. I learned that she was terrified of failing, of disappointing me, of not being enough. And I told her the truth, that she was more than enough, that she had always been enough, that I was the one who had failed, not her. Mother's Day was approaching, and I didn't expect anything. I didn't need a card or a gift. I just wanted her to know that I loved her, that I saw her, that I was committed to being better. So I planned a special day. I took the entire day off, something I had never done. I decorated the kitchen with balloons and streamers. I made her favorite breakfast, heart-shaped pancakes with strawberries and whipped cream. I bought her favorite flowers, daisies, and put them in a vase on the table. When Emma came downstairs that morning and saw everything, she stopped in her tracks. "Mom, what's all this?" I smiled, my heart pounding. "Happy Mother's Day." She looked confused. "But it's your day." "I know, but you're the reason I'm a mother, and I wanted to celebrate you, to thank you for being patient with me while I figure out how to do this right." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Mom, I love you, Emma, more than anything in this world, and I'm going to spend every day proving that to you." We sat down and ate breakfast together. We talked and laughed. It felt like the old days, when she was little, when things were simpler. It felt like healing. After breakfast, Emma went to her room for a moment. When she came back, she was holding something behind her back. I made you something," she said quietly. She handed me a card, and that's when my world fell apart. I took the card with trembling hands. It was handmade from pink construction paper. On the front, she had drawn a daisy. Simple, delicate, beautiful. I opened it slowly, my heart pounding. "Mom, I know you love me, but I don't think you see me anymore." The words blurred as tears filled my eyes, but I kept reading. "I miss the mom who used to read me bedtime stories. I miss the mom who used to ask about my dreams. I miss the mom who used to laugh with me. I know you're tired. I know you work hard, but sometimes I wish you would just stop and see me, really see me." My chest felt like it was caving in. "I've been so lonely, Mom. Even when you're in the same room, I feel alone. I started thinking maybe I wasn't worth your time. Maybe I wasn't interesting enough or good enough to deserve your attention. I stopped showing you my drawings because you never looked at them anymore. I stopped talking about school because you never really listened. I stopped asking for help because you were always too tired." Every word was a dagger. "I know you're doing your best. I know you sacrifice everything for me. But Mom, I don't need more stuff. I don't need new clothes or toys or fancy things. I just need you. I need you to see me, to know me, to want to spend time with me." I could barely breathe. "I wrote this card weeks ago, before you started trying again, before you came home early and made dinner and asked me how I was feeling. I wrote it when I thought I had lost you forever. But I'm giving it to you now because I think you need to know how close we came to losing each other." My hands shook. "I'm giving it to you because I want you to remember. Remember what it felt like to almost lose me. Remember what it feels like to be seen. And please, Mom, please don't forget again." The next line broke me completely. "Because I love you, and I need you, and I don't want to feel invisible anymore." I looked up at Emma through my tears. She was crying too. "When did you write this?" I whispered. 3 weeks ago, before you changed. I was going to give it to you on Mother's Day no matter what, because I needed you to know, even if you didn't care, even if it didn't change anything. I needed to say it. I pulled her into my arms and held her so tight. I care, baby. I care so much. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know, Mom. I can see that now. That's why I still gave you the card. Not to hurt you, but to remind us both. To remind us what we almost lost, and to celebrate that we found each other again. We cried together, holding each other, letting all the pain and fear and love pour out. And in that moment, I made a vow. I would never let her feel invisible again. Never.
The months after Mother's Day were different. Not perfect, not without challenges, but different. I kept my promise. I stayed present, I made time, I listened. Emma's grades started improving. She started painting again, she started smiling more. She started letting me back into her life. We established new rituals. Every Sunday we had breakfast together. No phones, no distractions. Just us, talking about everything and nothing. Every night before bed, I tucked her in, even though she was 14. I would sit on the edge of her bed and ask her 3 questions. What was the best part of your day? What was the hardest part? And what are you grateful for? At first, her answers were short, safe. But gradually, she opened up. She told me about her fears, her hopes, her insecurities. She told me about the boy in science class. His name was Daniel, and yes, he liked her back. She told me about her dream of becoming an artist, even though she was scared it wasn't practical. And I listened, really listened. I didn't try to fix everything. I didn't lecture. I just held space for her to be whoever she needed to be. One evening, about 3 months after Mother's Day, Emma came to me with a new painting. It was beautiful. A mother and daughter holding hands, walking through a field of daisies. "It's us," she said softly, "finding our way back to each other." I hung it in the living room, in the most prominent spot, where I could see it every single day. A reminder, a promise, a celebration of second chances. Emma graduated high school 4 years later with honors. She got accepted into an art school with a partial scholarship. On her graduation day, she gave a speech as valedictorian. She talked about resilience, about mothers who work themselves to the bone, about feeling lost and then finding your way home. And at the end, she looked directly at me and said, "To my mom, thank you for seeing me. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for showing me that it's never too late to change, to grow, to love better. You're my hero, not because you're perfect, but because you never gave up on us." I cried through the entire speech. After the ceremony, Emma hugged me tight. I kept the card, the one from Mother's Day. I keep it in my journal as a reminder of where we were and how far we've come. I kept it too, I admitted. I read it whenever I need to remember what really matters. She smiled. "We're going to be okay, Mom." "We already are, sweetheart. We already are." If you're reading this, maybe you're a parent who's struggling. Maybe you're working too much, sleeping too little, trying to hold everything together with sheer willpower and coffee. Maybe you're so focused on providing that you've forgotten to be present. Maybe you have a child who's growing quieter, more distant, pulling away, and you don't know why. Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. Your children don't need perfect. They need present. They don't need expensive toys or fancy vacations. They need your time, your attention, your genuine interest in who they are. They need to be seen. Really, truly seen. Not just as responsibilities to manage or mouths to feed or futures to secure, but as human beings with thoughts, feelings, dreams, and fears, as people who need to know they matter, especially to you. I almost lost my daughter because I was so busy trying to be a good provider that I forgot to be a good presence. I thought love meant sacrifice, working myself to exhaustion so she could have a better life. But Emma didn't need a better life. She needed me in her life, the real me, present, engaged, interested. That Mother's Day card saved us both. It shattered me, yes, but it also woke me up.
It made me realize that success as a parent isn't measured in how much you provide. It's measured in how much you connect. If you're reading this and you recognize yourself in my story, it's not too late. It's never too late. Start today. Put down your phone, close your laptop, turn off the TV. Look at your child. Really look at them. Ask them how they're doing, and then wait. Actually wait for the answer. Don't rush, don't interrupt, don't immediately try to fix or solve or advise. Just listen. Let them know they're seen. Let them know they matter. Let them know that nothing, not work, not money, not exhaustion, is more important than them. Because here's the truth. They won't remember the extra shifts you worked. They won't remember the bills you paid or the sacrifices you made. But they will remember whether you saw them, whether you knew them, whether you chose them. Every single day, we get to choose. Choose connection over convenience. Choose presence over perfection. Choose love over everything else. Emma and I made it through, but we were lucky. We caught it in time. Not every parent gets that second chance. So if you still have time, use it. If you still have the opportunity, take it. If your child is still there, waiting to be seen, see them before it's too late. Because one day, they'll hand you a card that will either celebrate the parent you became or break your heart with the parent you could have been. The choice is yours. Choose wisely. Choose love. Choose presence. Choose them. Always, always choose them. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. And today, right now, go tell someone you love that they matter. Don't wait. Life is too short, and the people we love need to hear it. See you in the next story.